Does Monday at the office feel like a storm? Not with Microsoft Copilot. That feeling when Copilot gets everyone up to speed instantly? It's sunny again. When Copilot simplifies complex data so your teams can act, that sun's shining on a beach. And when Copilot uncovers hidden insights, you're on that beach with your people, and you find buried treasure. That's Microsoft Copilot. Learn more at Microsoft.com/AI for all.
Today on CityCast Philly, it's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about the number of violent incidents this week on or near public transportation, an unexpected shakeup at Philly's Board of Education. Plus, it ain't done yet. Who's keeping the dollar hot dog tradition alive? It's Friday, March 8th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week is Tom Fitzgerald, transportation reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Trenae.
And Dale Mezzacappa, senior reporter at Chalkbeat Philadelphia, a nonprofit news organization focused on education. Welcome back to CityCast Philly, Dale.
Thanks, Trenae.
All right, we got a lot of news to cover this week, but let's start with this ongoing conversation about hot dogs in the city. So last week, the Phillies made this huge announcement that the 27-year-old tradition of Dollar Dog Night, where you would get a hot dog for $1, ended because fans, got unruly. They start throwing the hot dogs around during the games. And so the Phillies are now planning to run a buy one, get one promo where fans can still get hot dogs, but you'll get 2 for $5. And that will be happening on special nights on April 2nd when the Phillies play the Cincinnati Reds and April 16th when the Phillies play the Rockies. Okay, so then on Monday, Philly Voice reported that Juana Tamale, a Mexican restaurant in East Passyunk, said they're offering $1 hot dogs during Philly's home games. But then on Monday night, the Flyers stepped into the conversation and they offered a $1 dog night for fans. Now, we're not sure if they're going to continue that special promotion, but then someone else hopped in by Wednesday, and it was Shake Shack. Now, they stepped in and into this hot dog drama and said they're going to keep the, quote, dollar dog tradition alive. They're offering dollar dogs on March 28th, April 2nd, and April 16th at their locations at University City, Center City, and Midtown Village. All right. Are you guys hungry yet? So my question is for Tom and Dale, are you excited that these hot dogs are still going to be offered for $1 in the city at various locations?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm kind of neutral. I'm just surprised at how much intense feeling there is about cheap hot dogs. In fact, somebody had a petition online. I don't know if it was a change.org kind of deal. And they said humans have a God-given right to encased meats for free at least once a year.
I mean, I know that Philly is known for the cheesesteaks. I didn't know how, like you said, how passionate we were about hot dogs. Dale, what about you?
So I never eat them unless if I go to a game, I might, just because they're there and they're cheap.
Yeah.
I do understand, Tom, when you think about it, you can figure out that, Philly has a lot of quirks and that's one of them. Then, God forbid you take away something they're used to having. And, it's enough of a tradition that when I went to see a game, which I might do once a year, maybe twice, I look forward to having cheap hot dogs. So anyway.
All right, let's get into some of the news of the week. This has been actually a really violent week in the city. Tom, the Inquirer reported that on Wednesday afternoon, at least 8 teens were shot at a busy intersection less than a mile from Northeast High School. And also 2 SEPTA buses were struck in this shooting. Now, this has been an ongoing story. And as of Thursday morning, according to 6ABC, The police say that they have found a vehicle matching the description of the car that was used in this shooting, and it's impounded. Police have also, earlier this week, released surveillance footage of 3 suspects that were involved. So, Tom, what's been the response from Mayor Sherrell Parker, Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel, and even SEPTA officials? What have they said about this?
Well, the mayor basically said, this won't stand. This enough is enough. I think she said that before, sadly, because there are plenty of shootings in the city. And as far as SEPTA, the chief of transit police said they had been taking a step back on enforcing minor crimes like fare evasion.
Mm-hmm.
He says their officers will detain people for any crime on the books, and if there's probable cause, search for weapons on the system. Buses, though, they're kind of isolated. They're by themselves. I don't know how that's going to work on buses, but they're also going to have Philly PD and transit police stepping onto buses randomly to say, ask the operator, is everything okay?
Right. Now, according to NBC 10, this is the 4th shooting on or near SEPTA property in less than a week. Have you heard from passengers or people using SEPTA every day, and what are their thoughts about this or a possible increase of police presence?
Most that I've spoken to are horrified, everyone in the city, and also afraid for their safety sometimes. And, it feels like it's getting out of hand. And I have heard a number of people say, yeah, send in the National Guard, send in state police. I don't care. We need to be safe on transit.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really have abstract debates about what's the proper way to do policing. They want to see transit police on train cars and platforms and such. It's almost unanimous.
More news of the week after the break. This is CityCast Philly.
Shipping can make or break a sale, so optimize how you ship your orders with ShipStation. They make it easy to automate and manage orders no matter how big your business grows. And they might even be able to help reduce shipping and warehouse costs. So optimize and keep up your momentum for growth with ShipStation. Sign up for your free 60-day trial now at ShipStation.com and use the code POD. That's ShipStation.com with the code POD.
Tom, some people might argue too that none of this violence is SEPTA's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fault of the people who are doing the shooting, doing the crimes. But when you hear about these crimes, and like you just mentioned, people's perception is that, well, then maybe SEPTA is not safe, or, I don't want to ride the buses, the trolleys, or the trains. So, Tom, I'm curious, though, what's the reality? Is crime actually getting worse on SEPTA?
Actually, the most serious crimes, they call them Part 1 for reporting purposes. And that includes shootings, assaults, violent assaults, aggravated assaults, homicide, sexual assault, and thefts of various types. So those are basically have been trending down. However, now homicides, there's still relatively few on or near SEPTA property, but the SEPTA says they're increasing, because the gun involved crime on the system is going up. That's a fact. So it's overall, it's fairly safe, but try telling that to somebody
who sees the headlines.
And they're looking around while they're commuting to work or taking their kids to the doctor or whatever.
Or God forbid, know one of the families that are involved in these crimes.
Absolutely.
What stood out to me in some of the reporting that I read in the Enquirer is that at least 6 teens have been shot or killed on or near SEPTA property in the past year. And I guess for me, that's what's also concerning, is because we know that a lot of teenagers rely on SEPTA to get to school, to come back home, to visit, to get to work, to visit family and friends. You start to become a little uneasy, and it is scary. And if that is your means for transportation in the city, it's hard, and it kind of feels like, well, what can I do? So hopefully, things will change and things will improve.
Right. It's alarming, the number of young people, teens especially, that are caught up in this.
You can read live updates about this story in the Inquirer. We'll have links in our show notes. Okay, I want to talk about this other story about the Philadelphia Board of Education Vice President Mallory Fix Lopez announced this week that she is resigning as of April 18th. And from your reporting, Dale, Fix Lopez, quote, has taken herself out of consideration for a future board appointment. Dale, can you tell us how long she served on the board?
Yeah, she was first appointed in 2018 under the Kenney administration, and she continued to be reappointed, I guess, once or twice since. Mm-hmm. And then the board itself, each December, elects their leadership, the president and vice president. And Fix Lopez was twice elected to be vice president.
But Dale, why did she resign?
She said she resigned because it coincided with a previously scheduled medical procedure, nothing, terribly major, but something that she had to deal with. And she just decided to resign and take time with her family and so on. When asked whether she had a hint that Mayor Parker, who has the power to appoint all new board members starting on May 1st, she said it had nothing to do with it, that it was separate from any consideration as to whether she wanted to be reappointed, would be reappointed, hearing that she wouldn't be reappointed. But it was an unexpected move. And of course, she knew that the speculation would arise that her resignation in this fashion signaled the fact that the mayor is planning on reconstituting the board, naming all new members. And Mayor Parker has not really tipped her hand as to what her intentions are regarding whether she would reappoint members that are now here or not. Also, there's a whole process that's already underway where an education nominating panel interviews candidates. 121 people have applied to be on the board. This education nominating panel will then pick 27, 3 for each of the 9 vacancies. And the mayor will then appoint 9 people, and then the city council has to ratify these appointments. So the education nominating panel may have their first meeting next week, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And you can follow the next steps in this process by checking out the reporting from Dale in Chalkbeat. That was Dale Mezzicappa, senior reporter at Chalkbeat Philadelphia, and Tom Fitzgerald, transportation reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer. Thank you both so much for joining me on CityCast Philly this week.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
It's time for the tip of the week, where we share a life hack for living in Philly. The St. Patrick's Day Parade is happening this Sunday, March 10th at 11:15. The parade kicks off at 16th Street and JFK Boulevard, then goes to the Independence Mall area and will end at Penn's Landing. The city says the main performance area will be at 5th and Market Streets. Now, drivers, be mindful of some road closures and parking restrictions along the parade route. And if you're not planning to drive downtown, you can watch the parade live on CW Philly 57 from 12 to 3 p.m. or stream it live on CBS News Philadelphia. We'll have all the information you need to know with links in the show notes. If you have a tip of the week, we'd love to hear from you too. Call or text us at 215-259-8170. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Laura Benchoff. Our producers are Abby Fritz and A.K. Al Moman. Our Hey Philly newsletter editor is Asha Prahar. And our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos and James Weldon. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend, y'all, and be safe. Bye.